And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We are back here for the NBPL Grand Finals for Trios. It's been a little bit, took a little bit of a break while working and whatnot in the background. A lot of support coming through for a lot of the uploads recently, so I really want to appreciate everyone for kind of taking that time to look through the videos and watching the scrims as well, not just to the NBPL matches, but towards the C scrims that we've been uploading. And I also want to appreciate those that took the time and actually leaving comments for updates and like, hey, yeah, you know, even to those who actually privately DM'd me as well, you know, to say, hey, man, I really like to see the analysis. Of course, it's you know, it's one thing to kind of go over and it's like, okay, yeah, that's 100%, and kind of following the process. But we are entering grand finals for this video. It's a little bit delayed, very delayed. I haven't watched a single section of the grand finals. It's been long enough for you guys to know who won and whatnot, so I mean, just to spoil it out, OUG took the victory actually onto this end, and it really does come down towards seeing how they kind of managed to do so, because if you guys don't know, right, first 3 rounds expect no hero points, right? 0 hero points are available in the first 3 rounds, meaning that if they see a character get a +1 because they got picked they got mono picked in the first round, that they can no longer choose that character. They can't choose that comp, or rather like a character that can be aligned towards the comp. So with our players here between OUG, GG, JL, XCG, Wolves, ALL or Alliance, KLA, WBG, FPXZQ with DRG, BBE, and Bauda, and BBE actually making their debut into a grand final, or into a finals day for Biweekly 1 specifically. So we saw that how Spider won out his Biweekly 1 for solos, and if you guys want to, you know, go towards that video, I do have that separated in 2 different rounds, or 2 different sections, where we have rounds 1 through 3 and 4 through 6. So with that being said, do you want to see where this round comes through here for the standings? Now, this is where proposed points are going to be evolved. From what I calculated, a 9.7 percentile deduction, well, not deduction, but calculation towards where their points kind of stand for proposed. So you're kind of looking at this as a value of like, you earn as much as you can to get like a dividend out of it, like a, you know, a fraction. But proposed points adds up, especially when we see the threshold. Now match points for trios seems to be a threshold of 74. Now in solos it was 30, and that makes sense because you're only one person. Now trios, things can get escalated in 3 rounds or so, especially if a team gets a 30 point game due to having 20 kills in first place. Excuse me. I wouldn't really count it against any teams to kind of take advantage of that for themselves. If they can get that severe lead, and if they do end up getting the point value for match point, how long will it take for them? Because OUG, right, 180 points, man. Like, that's a massive value. That's a game. That's a game's worth of points that they actually can use towards this round, and that means they only need around 56 points to kind of make sure they get the match point. 56 points. I mean, that would allow them to actually just make it happen. But GG is right close behind them, and they were doing phenomenally and well in the first 2 days for themselves to be playing. So now that it comes out of hit, the rotation reverses it. Now we're going to have Morris Isle to be the first 3 maps, and then after Morris Isle, we'll have Hollowroth to be the next 3 maps for 6 rounds. So we literally just reversed the first 6 rounds as a rotation. But then if it ends up going to game 7, which this case, it spoiler alert, right, because I said OUG won, it does go to the 7th game. We will have Morris Isle to actually get to be the 7th game as I think that's Cloudy, and then Dawn or Dusk for Hollowroth, right? And Dusk for Hollowroth, right? The Firefly cages, Fireflies in general, that's just massive in terms of the environment. So for that to be a case scenario for how these guys would end up going there, like you're ending up not playing Morris Isle with any Fireflies, and then if the game still goes on, then you're gonna go into full on, you know, hero points not gonna be available stage of just play who you got, play who you can, play who you will. I don't know, because I think once we run into hero points being run out by the 6th round or by the 7th round, that things could end up, because they get their hero points of 9 hero points in by starting in round 4. So then they work with 9 hero points at that point. But then after that, what we're going to end up having issues with is having the hero point values in the first 3 rounds being at 0. Is like, who can use those to their advantage, because it's going to be mono pick choices. Now, I'm not 100% certain, because this is the first time we've seen match points to be evolved, 8 rounds to be potential, and then the first 3 rounds being with 0 points is kind of like where it throws things into a bind. And I'm kind of curious to seeing how that ends up and going into if they count 2 hero points to be utilized for the first 3 rounds. And if not, then that means that the first 3 rounds are just like, choose your comp. Go if you're allowed to. My man's trying to seal that thing up. You know, the coach supporting in any way, bro. He's like, I can't close it. He's like, I got you, homie. So when are you gonna throw that Viper ult in the sky? No, but very strong guys to mentally kind of put themselves in this position of studying everything they can and then how to work against it. Like, these guys have these things up under the rug in terms of like, okay, there's just strats. But you saw in one of the days, I think day 2 or day 3, where we saw one of the coaches have like a whole slew of pictures of spawns for enemies and or other teams, I should say, and then understanding where they're going to spawn in this map and that map, and then taking that data and just correlating it. So first round selection is going to be here. This is the groupings that will happen now. Like I said, let's say round 1, the first round selection pool, let's say they all pick Sand Siphon. Not Sand Siphon. Well, yeah, let's say they all pick Sand Siphon, and then second round goes through. It's most likely going to be AOT comp, and then which is Viper Wuchen Testa, and then the third round should be Cannonball comp. So kind of the basis of what you can see, because the moment that, you know, the first round shows up and who's getting banned, you can't choose. Remember that thing where I was saying about how, oh man, you know, Takeda, Ziping, or Kurumi, and then Temi, like the Kurumi and Ziping, how you can swap between one or the other, it's not going to really matter in the first 3 rounds, because as long as Takeda and Temi are banned, and that's it. No one can really do that in the second round position, like round 2 overall. So here we go. First round, Sand Siphon. We're going to see Cannonball in there too from BBE. Very interesting to actually have that opportunity to lock it through, because the Sand Siphon comes in with Ziping Ying. Okay, so that means none of these teams can do it. They're gonna go they're actually gonna go full Cannonball instead of AOT. They're gonna work AOT in the third round. Okay. And the reason they're doing this is because Fireflies. Although you see GG is like, no, I'm gonna run AOT, and I'm like, okay, no problem. AOT from Wolves, and then from the remaining cast of the third round. And that's it, yeah. So 5 Wuchen Tessa Viper teams, 3 Ziping Temi squads for the Sand Siphon, and then 4 Cannonballs. So gonna be able to notice. And another thing is this, right? If a team goes into match point, you gotta find the comp. You gotta understand who it is and what they're playing. You'll kind of guesstimate off of the round selections that they go off of and seeing what they play. But if they choose like an out-of-pocket pick, right? Like how BBE chose a Cannonball comp outside of the first round or inside the first round, that they'll be able to use the Cannonball as like a psyche, you know, of like, oh man, you gotta focus all the Ziping Temi squads. And guess what? They weren't even on that. They won. They would have won. They did win. You know, because they were choosing Cannonball comp, hypothetically speaking. That's what I was kind of like attesting towards Solos Grand Finals. And I was actually in a chat with Raven about it temporarily in his stream, about how, you know, targeting is going to come out to play really big when you can find who killed you, and it turns out it's the match point player in solos, or you kill them and you understand they're playing like a certain pick, like how Fang found out it was Akos Mike, finds the Akos and kills him again because he knows exactly who to focus, because that guy can be ending this match if he won. So taking him out early. And in this case for trios, it's more about the skills, if you see about it, the comps, right? Now, doing what BBE's done, where they chose the Cannonball in the first round pick, that can actually just throw these players off later. Like, you know, this is like a prologue of what can happen later on, where they choose a pick that's not necessarily fully chosen as a first round pick, and then they can psyche out the whole entire game. The only way you can really tell then is by the skills used by the players after you kill them, or after you get killed. Like if you instances you see Justina, if you see Justina Fariashen, or no, Justina Yorohime and Wei Shan, where WBG was using F3 for instance, and then how Alliance uses a V1 or F1 for Yorohime, you will notice that. You know that they're going to be running F3 because they ran it twice before, right? So you kind of, that's where the coach comes in. The coach comes in and is like, hey, yo. So if they do choose Justina, if we see a comp like that, pay attention to the F. And then that's like the secondary knowledge. It's like, yeah, we got to focus on that team. When the time comes, we have to make sure they get out, because there are match point players, and you can see that coming off into those rounds. But besides the point, that's just like ahead of time. We're going to look into these the choice picks. F3V1 from Wolves. You know, my take on it, where there's a control, but then the no lockdown really comes into play unless Tessa can really manage to do that for them. Because otherwise, you're going to have to go up against teleporter Yodohime, who can use her teleporter to like teleport through with one slash, and she can cancel ult if Wu-Chen ults. Wei Shan, on the other hand, it really depends. It really is a bait out tool, actually. Now I'm thinking about it, this is a really psych out tool, because let's say Tessa does confirm the enchant, and then the V1 starts to come out from Viper. Then if Yodohime uses her F or her V1 to cause for teleportation, she doesn't silence this guy right here. She doesn't silence his Wei Shan. The fact that Wei Shan can pretty much activate ult almost immediately after the enchant to go off to actually activate V3 will put him in a bad spot by having him get in direct line of fire from the enchant, but he would actually just give this team the immunity that they need to necessarily go through. And if not, Xiaonan, Kakaxi, like the whole fact that these guys can teleport through the Viper with the iframe, from using the beacon to the V3 teleport to just using the ultimate in general for V, like that, this guy right here would just prove it to go through the enchant specifically. So as we can see, F3 V3 for lane from ALL. We will go through and see V2 from Yaron as Bauda Roxas for the Temi. Now onto this end, we are gonna see an F2 Tessa. I was not expecting that. 20-second, that's a 20-second cooldown skill, so maybe utilizing that to their advantage for control from a ranged position. And you can actually deny reses as well. Although, you know, you might as well use a ranged weapon. You would actually call out your teammate to use range shots, and then the F2 can kind of come out to do work where they groups them up. I don't know. I like it, but the only problem is that it doesn't have any sort of CC control for like blue focus status when you're casting it, so you're in neutral status the whole time. So it really comes out. And they actually did a change for the new patch. I mean, by the time I'm recording this, the patch has already dropped. But these guys aren't. NBPL may not join the patch that we have gone through for Naraka's talent glyph system to be changed. To now, like, to wait it out. Like, once that time comes and they activate it into NBPL, that's going to be a whole rinky-dinky change because of economy system and everything. For trios especially. But, I digress. Everyone else seems to be kind of the same. I've seen F3s to be still more prevalent for these NBPL players to kind of push and peel off. And the V1 coming out, the F1 coming out from KLA. Now that's a selection. I'm gonna look at the map. KLA kind of puts himself in the position of being able to be at the Shipwreck Expanse, BBE, opting to go near the Fiery Stash for Fireflies in that stash specifically. JL by the Sun Cave, as well as with Alliance being nearby west of the Sigma Mine, and then OUG actually by the village northeast of that. Interesting. They're gonna head for Fireflies right here then, and if they kind of combat that, they could also make their way towards through into this end. They'll actually ambush BB, not BB. Is that BB over there? That's not BB. BB's right here. JL is over here. So if they could decide to rush into JL's position, that they go through. If not, they can just make their way towards Ephemeros. If they can't, XGG's already over by the Firefly Cave over there. Bauda and FPX are going to be spawning near towards the Breezy Maze for Fireflies as well. GG actually by Zest Winery and DRG right on the Windwheel Gorge to hit the Fireflies. 2 Fireflies, in fact, for themselves. This is interesting because Wolves is like out there. He's at Noble Cave. They're just chilling over there. Yeah, because like no WBG, not JL. Um, I don't know. I'm looking at this from like a okay, rotate down for the Fireflies and get the gear from gold and green troves. To also the blue troves. Yo, Motor War is gonna go crazy though next season when that season patch comes. All right, let's keep going. Wow, what a spawn. OUG and ALL actually dropping nearby to each other towards the to the Sun Cave, as I mentioned. Immediate Firefly gathering for maybe the King had initial rage because I don't think he even picked up any Fireflies. But over to the Windwhale Gorge, you can actually see how GG positions themselves towards a Firefly, not toward their Tesla. So it might have been a grief coming up from DRG to actually pick those up immediately, but it's a Sand Siphon, right? V2 is ready for Moonlight, but he could not have any time to activate it. And as GG picks up 2 eliminations so far, they'll have to figure out the remaining enemy, if he's actually going to go ahead and just make a econ decision of just going for resets. But Bow to P getting a kill off of water. Into the kill feed, JL getting almost chased out by ALL as the Alliance tries to be on the back line while JL is just trying to... I mean, they got 1 Firefly set up for FX here, so... Or for Ultimate. But it looks like KLA finds GG330, who was the last remaining teammate for GG before the life is to be expended. Wait, no. GG got those 3 kills, so GG330 is by himself by nature. KLA dropping hot to join these guys into a fight. Pretty interesting to see where GG's deciding to kind of want to work with that, because they lost a teammate who had, you know, gold to kind of keep on hand. But LXM 6,500. How much gold did 330 have? I need to see this. Okay, so 6. Okay, let's wait for the elimination for gold, because I'm looking at the amount of gold that's being picked up here from the elimination, because he has like 1,400 left. So they go from this elimination. QGG picked up the 3K right from that kill. Because he has Dark Tech. Yeah, he has a gold over time. 3K, and then I'm looking at CXZ and QGG's money. 3K picked up from that body. Okay. So not too much of a loss in terms of that. They can buy Moonbane right now, as well as with LXM, they could be looking to try to buy that from the discount builds that are currently in the game still. To kind of figure out their way to kind of rush down towards the corner. ZK going towards the Ballista Tower north of the Zest Winery as KLA makes their way towards this. CJS, GG as a whole, they're actually by the Ballista Tower into the woods in soul form. So whether or not they're going to be regrouping together and everything, I'm kind of hoping. Let's see how they kind of want to work this one out. Daylily Meadow, EG chasing out LXM. Wolves against GG. LXM having no ultimate here is kind of crucial. The Forest, big Firefly zone too, so takes his chance here to use his scale rushes to get it out there, get it out of harm's way. We're gonna see fights between Celestial, between JL and from what seems to be OUG. OUG having full blue armor on the roster, purple weapon for SS. I'm not sure how the King and you are faring for weaponry. I see a purple Hong sword for the King, and I see you with the blue weapon, and now he has a blue bow as a range. VVV having to force ult here is not going to be looking too good, because FX does not have ult as well, because he has his proc as well. And now it looks like the Silence was trying to get confirmed, can't get VVV due to it, but finds his V1. We can see OUG working their magic here with that chance of locking through. And even though the Forbidden Seal is active, OUG has full reason, or SS has full reason to be in here anyways, and finds that parry against TXJ. And even though he has a 15-second silence here with no cooldown, he has this in the bag, completely putting these guys. No cooldown glyphs on SS there too, so that's kind of crucial. Really good. But with everything coming out from Bo, because it's 15 seconds, like, you know, the value that you get out of it versus the discount kind of comes out towards the bottom glyph board. But man, it's gonna be really feels bad considering we're having that patch. It changed everything. Now, as Bo kind of looks towards this, we're gonna see him have his spear. He keeps his movement going through. He's like, okay, no problem. Just keep the pressure on with the Saggers coming out from this ultimate, for the ultimate to be confirmed. And he's got F1 to deny this, but he has that Dragon Slayer dead to rights. SS does not get eliminated due to the port into the eastern side of this ravine, and SS is quick with getting out there. He's got 80% on ultimate. He still needs to heal. His teammate doesn't have an armor to swap out for him on the fly, and F3 from Muchen could come out here just to reset as fast as they get on top of this ridge. And they're going to be available to get on that ridge, but whether or not Alliance wants to make this go through, they have V3 F3 for the Viper. Their aggression is very warranted, as they have almost a 55% rage on the Tessa. So Bo trying to build that up if he can. Still chases out F3 Wuchen now expended for OUG. We're gonna see how much Alliance can kind of take this to their advantage. Now that there's a Forbidden Seal, there ain't no ultimate versus ultimates. It's skill versus skill, because now that Alliance, they still have ultimates, yes, but the problem is now lane, Bo, they can't utilize their ultimates that are fully readily available, whereas OUG's SS is at 89 percentile points. It's kind of dangerous, you know. Nice Tesla ult outside of the zone, but it's not confirmed. We're going to see this ultimate used outside of the Forbidden Seal, so no denial of it. SS finds lane. Lane gets himself caught into the 2 ultimates with the Tesla enchant. Bo for the parry, switching this around. You having no chance of actually locking this off. I do see this longsword getting utilized pretty well here. You know, just holding the horizontal, the more damaging skill, or the more damaging attack from the longsword, by the way. To just knock this through, but the port coming out from ALL to actually get their teammate out into the zone, into the Forbidden Seal, no less. Quick res to come out here, and another elimination off of lane as he got some sense into getting a res. He didn't have any sort of way of actually doing much with it. Now Revenge finds a parry off of SS. OUG finds their eliminations, and that's 7 eliminations so far into this first round. And we're not even in the first round Yang, by the way. We have Soul Blooms left behind. But they're going to pick it up because they need to rage back for SS at least for V1. Big fight over Eventside Temple. I see Bauda is up against what seems to be XCG. XCG did spawn near Ephemeros. Bauda actually having no lives, so they might have just caused a spawn out from where they were originally. But Bauda has now the Takeda ultimate to be out from your not from your Ron, from Jing, but you know, Ron ultimate as well. While NHQ actually still has a Wei Shan ultimate to be safeguarding them from anything of that nature, but since that ultimate's down from the Tummy, there's not really much threats. Now, Farius Shen ults. Shots are shooting off against Jing in the back. We're going to see Iran get taken out here in momentarily if XCG kind of commits towards this, because scare rushes get thrown off. Iran does not connect it, and he's going to be using his blue focus, gets parried due to the control that XCG will look towards and having their teammate be on parry duty. For the parries off of any blue focuses whatsoever, if they can. Now, Zhao Hu is over by the Lake Yellowleaf. BBE finding these eliminations. This is their Moonbane. They're getting cannon shot at it, while FX's Water is seeing the pain and struggle. Another Moonbane almost catching Roy Shishi as a result, and this is F2. Mind you, F2 for FPX with this Tesla, but it looks like not even that is going to be necessary because they found eliminations due to Moonbane. I don't know why BBE kind of rushed that into Moonbane. It's playing with fate. You can actually see Roishishi be very, very lucky. I mean, when I say lucky, I mean, like, look at the range between the Moonbane and Roishishi in this position. Because obviously we see Ivan taken out. But Roishishi rocks in with the F2. It forces him in that direction towards the Moonbane. But he uses F2 to reposition towards Water here. Past the tree, which he would have died if he stayed around that position. But the only mistake he made here, and especially in a Moonbane with the 30-second threshold still in, is the fact that Roy Shishi decided to use ultimate here. The threat here is that since he is an ultimate, he's in stay still status for at least 2 seconds. And for the duration that he's staying still, a Moonbane strike could end his you know, I'm not saying his whole career, like, you know, like actually, but metaphorically inside of this round. He could get eliminated just like that, which happens. You know, even then, like, Water is like, oh, you know, let me get my res off of Zhao, and Dongqing already used his res. He's somewhere walking around. Well, they have to get to his body to get his gear and everything, especially if it's currency. Now, JL up against GG in the Gamma Mine. I don't know. Viper V3 F3. LXM's not looking to push up just yet. I think he's trying to force the pressure from one of the JL teammates to kind of go for it, especially for the Wei Shan or the Yodohime, because there it is. F2 cast. Tries to see about her push up. V3 is confirmed with the Tesla enchant to actually deny this, but then there is an enchant to be popped out here. They're trying to hit direct shots onto her. They can't. She is at 20% HP for the mech, so they got to think about how they want to focus on her. VV caught into his Cab Bloom. And a horizontal coming out from the halberds actually came through pretty drastically for the position change here. Let's take a look in replaying that one back. So LXM having that Cab Bloom, you can see TXJ dropping down here. You know, this is a knockout CJS in the position with the pole sword. But another thing that comes out is that the horizontal from the halberds that, if I'm not mistaken, 330 was in. I think it was 330. Yeah, 3-3-0s in the sky. This actually gives him enough propelled height to jump and then activate F3 if he can. Yes, he does go ahead and throw it through because you can see CGS looks for this enchant for the stagger. In cannon mode, TGS can do it. TXJ can't do anything about that, but his mech is now at like inches on HP. Gets out of the mech form, has enchant to be guaranteed. Now, it is Yoda Kimeo. Can he get ult fast enough to teleport through or time it best enough to actually put these guys in the spot where they can't do anything about it? Let's take a look and see. So Slash comes out. We'll see just get this teleport. I'm not sure. I can't see. Parry them VVV from against LXM. No, he actually does get the teleport, and this actually forces the Wu Chen teleport to actually work out for GG to actually push away from this team. It's a cost for ultimates and for pressure nonetheless. But you know these guys have a good chance of switching that back up. It was a good play from GG to actually rush in here. Like I said, right, enchant from Tessa can really put someone in a bad spot for the Viper to actually get full priority and to silencing. That's where the beacon drop comes from VVV. This ensures that at least then TXJ can actually get inside of a defensive measure with the mech where he's not taking as much damage. And if he is taking damage, right? If he is taking damage, then the enchant health, even though it affects the health bar directly, right? The mech health will mitigate through that. As long as if they try to synergize range shots and everything, JL will try to, FX and VVV will try to deny that with range, not range, but with as much pressure from their melee weapons to come out as possible. So with that being said, TXJ gets into cannon mode, right? Boom, you know, just locking it out here. Tries to use as much verticality. Goes for a heal, one vitality heal. And when arriving to the sky, finds a Guma stop that actually locks down here, while 3-3-0 gets caught out for as much distance for his aerial position for the horizontal dual halberds, and gets himself the safeguard away from the enemies, which is pretty good. Yeah. Now TXJ, right, caught into the second enchant after the mech demeched. He was actually able to get his ult off because, you know, obviously he was Yoda Hime who entered the ult and was able to go ahead and teleport through. Now with this parry happens here, you can see the immediate point where 3-3-0 is told, get us out, you know. All right, cool. That's all you need to say, homie. And not even JL would want to take that chase. They needed to look for resets and they take that opportunity. So this is a primo example of where an even fight happens and taking the right time to reset and not getting too greedy. Because even if they wanted to, right? And this is like nothing to like really note out. Even if they wanted to stay. Or let's say they wanted to kind of rush these guys down. One thing you have to understand is that when a Wu Chen teleports his teammates, and if they're above the 80% HP threshold, they'll gain an attack buff. I'm pretty sure every single one of them got the attack buff. So if they really want to say, you know, oh no, or if JL wanted to rush them down because they think that GG is in a bad spot, absolutely not in the bad spot. Especially considering that these guys have that attack buff, they can turn that fight around like a lickety split. One R&B confirmed, one stagger to confirm a blue focus from a teammate could end a fight or end a position of a hero, just like that. So you gotta pay attention to where the health bars are for your teammate, not only to the positions, but like be careful about where you kind of want to stand on business when he goes to chasing, because you need to see where the HP is. If they're really low, then that's a really good opportunity for you to chase down. But they're at like at least 800 plus HP, so that's like, you know, and that could not even count the F3 Wu Chen to be available by that point, where they can turn that fight around. If they see you chasing, right, boom, F3 Wu Chen, they're already at like 200 or 308 armor to be ready. So be mindful about that. Don't WQ all the time. But Romy Yang was delayed. XG was looking for a free one. Not going to be the case. They're going up against KLA as WBG and DRG are going up against each other. Now QGG holding this position away from his teammates. Strong. Very strong. Tried to force himself in a spot where the enemy team really, you know, can have to decide between a transformer or a hybrid of the two on two sides. And in Kakaxi, you can see XG. This is like two top teams, right? So let's take a look in the pillar position that XG is taking. This is for grapples to get to the sky. They can try to lock into one position, while in HQ, the Vaishon is on ground unit duty. Now, here we go. You see XG and the Kakaxi, the Fairy, Shen, and Yoda Hime on both sides stick to it. But this is where NiHQ, I think QGG reacted to NiHQ actually jumping and going for the grapple here as well. Nah, everyone's going through. But the KLA looks to delay. Position goes in. You're going to see Kakashi looking for some swaps here. Keeps himself in propel. Light work with it in this guy, and that's good. F3 now burned out for the Yodohime from KLA. So Kakashi uses his F3 to push this back. The F3 of the V3 beacon dropped to the 17S. NiHQ in the backline having to force ultimate. First Wei Shun ultimate in this round. Kakashi actually taking that mitigation to full heart. But NiHQ tries to lock down any of the characters. The only problem is you got to take into consideration that NiHQ's full value coming out of this Wei Shun ultimate is to actually use ultimate himself. If NiHQ can get staggers as a Wei Shun against these targets, right? It's perfect. Position comes out here. Swarmers are dropping in from the skies, as if I'm not mistaken. We are going to see when the KLA mates actually getting it through. I think it's Xiaonan in that. Yeah, Xiaonan really putting pressure on these guys and actually putting Farius Shen in a really bad spot. CXZ down as NiHQ has himself an ultimate for another 10 seconds. We're going to see it come through here. And NiHQ is still trying to do some slam downs. Kakashi doing the same work here. 17S already out of his mech ultimate as the HP went down. And then with that, we're going to see NiHQ deform. Now, as much as QGG is rushing this down, KLA's 17S has ultimate ready to go here for the Yodohime, but get to the sky, putting some pressure from a distance. XEG really trying to just distance out here. Xiaonan gets caught out with the V3 or the RMB from the spear. Now it's a 2v2. Actually, no. Not a 2v2. It is 2v2. Yeah, Xiaonan is up against the QGG here. There's a Hex of Harmony spear. Oh, man. Oh, man. That is tough. And that fan coming in from 17S is going to kill confirm one. Maybe not kill confirm Xiaonan if that F3 is not if down. But he tries to go down here for a downward spiral. Not fast enough. QGG finds another Hex of Harmony. RMB kills Kakashi here almost, yeah. And there's a poison splash. Pushes back with the F1. Parry bait comes out here. Double blue focus. Might be looking for the F3 for the confirm. Not going to happen. Gets caught into the backline with the horizontal from the dagger. Yeah. It feels bad. It was a good fight, though. It was a good fight. It was a really good fight. The surprise Hex of Harmony catches both of XEG's mates and obviously, you know, that position that QGG found himself in, right? F3 was already burned from X. I don't know why Kakashi uses F3 to deny the Yodohime. I don't know. Let me see. Because 17S here, already high ground. I already looked for the double jump. So that burned F3 could have saved them if he had held it here. QGG knew that it was not. That knew it wasn't going to be available. Gets himself caught out here. The Clink comes out here for that final hit, which would have kill confirmed Xiaonan for sure. But 17S, you know, backing off here and then finding those RMBs. And there it is for the stagger from the vertical. And QGG burning his F to make sure that no parry animation would come out here from Xiaonan. Who was playing really careful with his blue focuses. And that F3 shot maybe delayed a little bit longer. No weapon swap coming out from 17S as well as a whole. So, you know, being careful about this. But other than that, no, I mean, like, these guys, you know, it was good plays between both sides. You can see that coming up here, and you know, it's like weapon or ultimate for ultimate, utilizing one ultimate if it's burned first to make sure that you can kind of pull back the window of, you know, okay, now I got to use my ultimate in conjunction with yours because I need to make sure you got to make sure that we can lock down these enemies from this position. So when that comes in here, a Zeswine, no, not Zeswine, a Artisan's Grove spot for DRG as they try to chase down BBE, who are at the corners. Now, this is a Vermilion team with a Vermilion. I'm not sure what the box was actually utilizing, so we're going to have to see what that box kind of goes through. DRG WFC looking for Fat Milk. Fat Milk actually left behind with that Wei Shun ultimate. Well, I think Reishishi actually dipped out here to the northeast. So for Fat Milk right now, using his Wei Shun ult as an escape. It is interesting, and I want to point this out. I want to point this out that not even WFZ has ultimate to be ready here for level 2 V3. It's kind of, you know, not say bothers me. It's just like, huh. You know, by this point, you kind of would expect the V2 to be available for him, but not the case. Now, Kakashi, WXCG, they find a Shao from WBG. Kakashi gets his slash, it confirms A Shao, but the V2 proc now happens as the second slash was confirmed. He's looking for the third slash against A Shao, who is living by a thread, and NiHQ confirms the kill. Kakashi just falls down gracefully, as Xiaonan is going to be looking for his Wei Shun ultimate to push back Sleepwalker. There it is, and Sleepwalker has F1, but there is a Takeda from Baiji who's actually going to be trying to use his bat dashes push Kakashi, the ground unit, back as their teammate gets away. Now, Sleepwalker backs off. He knows whether or not WBG Baiji is going to make it out of here alive. RMBs are going to be thrown as well to haymakers, so as a result. And this comes out here, Baiji finds himself caught into that F3 shot from Fairy Shen, as Xiaonan was able to confirm it, and Kakashi gets himself with it to get the elimination of a bye. And Sleepwalker lives to see the team, hopefully, with the amount of purchases that might come out here soon with gold. But 17S, KLA, he's in mech form already. It looks like QGG is already in ult, and CXC, just burn the mech for 17S. I'm not sure. 17S does not have ultimate readily available though. So as a Yodohime, he's just building up rage per second. And as it comes out, when this mech deforms, he can use as much chances to go ahead to use as much blue focuses. But Wu Shen goes down from DRG. There's an ultimate cast. There's a explosive armor proc. Big surprise. Moonlight looking to go ahead, get caught out here, and that's it. KLA picked up the Vermilion team to knock him out. DRG found only one elimination here, while we are going to look at a 7-kill game for QGG. You can see the scores are really just changing up lane. For Melo actually picking up a kill against WBG, fighting Sleepwalker in the midst of things. Scores so far, though, has FPX with 11 eliminations. I need to see how that F2 is working, bro. Because if F2 is viable, man, that's crazy. It's not gone. It's not gone from the game. F3 will be gone, and so will V3 for Tessa. But it will be interesting to see how it works out here. I want to see if we can get some of those plays. Maybe we gotta look at their point of view or something. But we are gonna see Kakashi actually get caught through here. RMB to RMB. The King finds the elimination. OUG gets their, I don't know, 8th elimination. It sucks how XCG gets eliminated out here through the zone, where Xiaonan has to kind of devolve into that area to kind of come back into it. But 8 kills for OUG as a result. Now Bauda, I don't know what they're up for, but they all have ultimates except for Yaron. He's at around 75%. We are going to see whether or not OUG will take the opportunity of pushing that, but they will not. They need this zone to close in before the second Romy Yang off it to the eastern side of the Servants' Grounds. And Bauda is making the rotation towards it as well. FPX, though, coming out from Celestia east side from the Immortal Temple. Wolves coming out from Crow's Nest. They're actually going to converge into Sunwell Dwelling, where Bauda is actually trying to hit to the shop. And that Romy Yang, man, oh my goodness. I don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to have a gentleman's agreement to walk towards the Romy Yang together in tow? And then if not, it's going to be a tassel rassle. P5 fassel. I don't know. But SS actually going to be holding on to the Servants' Grounds into the tree line. Jianan has 5% until his ultimate is ready. So it's not really too much of a bashed issue. But they find the 9 HQ off of a res. So while they're all trying to make it back into the zone, it's like cornered off. If Wolves hears this, right? Like if Wolves hears any one of these guys healing and they come back into Sunveil, they'll actually hear the grapple or anything. But they kept quiet. They didn't get spotted. It's all good in the hood. But while Zem actually has, let's take a look at the Wolves actually inventory. So far into the defense, right? A lot of range resist for EG, and a melee defense for ZK, as well as having as much defense as possible between Zem for melee, and then attacking at max because of the F3, of course, for Viper. But now we are entering Romy Yang. I'm about to sneeze. I a little feel it. All right, no sneeze. Give me 1 second to look at these. I mean, I like being surprised by the Jades. Don't you like being surprised by the Jades? Like, oh yeah, what is that? Overcard. But I could actually use the last time I was using the Jades was one thing. I was like, hey man, the game, the Soul Jades and everything, but taking the time to look at that, it's kind of better for the surprise. I'm like, okay, we'll go for it. Nice focus slide. See, this is the surprise I was talking about. Yeah, WFZ playing focus slide as a Takeda kind of does numbers here. QGG though, locking in with his ultimate as WFZ just plays around with Ring Around the Rosy. I think he's getting healed here by one of his teammates. Let me take a look and see. I'm not sure. Wushin seems to have a group heal. Yes, as Wushin has group heal, he can keep his team sustained. As DRG Wushin comes right through there, Moonlight is getting locked out. And oh my goodness, can we talk about that? Can we talk about the staggers they put on Moonlight there? Hold on a second. I need to see this. Is it RMB that did it? It was this double slash stagger coming out from QGG slash and then RMB with the cannon shot. The last cannon shot that 17S was able to pull off into that moment. He catches that, right? Last shot right here. That sealed the deal for Moonlight. He would have fell out sooner and enabled the V2, but it didn't happen. And as that comes down, we're going to see WFC try to make work with the Takeda Fury Blast. Slash number 1 misses, but Yodohime can confirm this one because of QGG's pressure as a way shot, and thus a pushback happens here as well. WFC is being propelled. This is exactly your best case scenario as it comes down to this. Oh my goodness, I want to look at that. I gotta look at that. Because CXC tries to rush in here to try to push his back, but the stagger's coming out back to back. 17S finds those V3 slashes, and Wushen having to get eliminated there. QGG comes out through this realm as well. This is big. White Tiger's prowess for GG, though. I'm not sure if that was a free roam they picked up. Gold Pole Sword, though. Probably for QGG, but actually going to 17S instead. He doesn't have focus light, you know. But, you know, what if? Dongqing, though, finds a kill off of you. I think it's elimination number 12. Yeah, they find OUG. Tesla does not confirm here. Yu is actually, or the King is actually the final teammate of OUG here with 9 eliminations. Perry doesn't confirm, but King gets caught to the R&B rubber band and from the fan, and that's going to be a kill number 13 for FPX. They're doing really well. They're doing really well. I'm not sure how that cooldown is working out for the Tesla, or rather the grouping up ability aspect of it. But we're going to have to see. Xiaonan off to the hilltop of Sunvale. We're going to see Xiaonan try to get the kill confirm off of Zem. He does, because EG gets caught to these staggers. But the Wuchen port is kind of crucial here. They find him immediately, almost immediately. Cannon shots can't do it. Swarm can't do anything here, so they went to cannon mode, and then he went back into Swarm because he was like, oh, okay, another shield ball. Okay. Finds the Goomba Stomp, finds WG, Moses Zem into the circle, and now this is where it comes into Scary Town. Can they get this kill? No, I don't think it's going to happen. Now the enchant's guaranteed, but Xiaonan actually, okay, hold on a second. Did NIHQ use his ultimate backline where they couldn't catch him? Yeah, perfect ultimate. Right on time for the V3F. Gets it, no stun. Enchant can be disenchanted due to the F3 from Kakashi as a preemptive measure, and this just pushes XCG into the ringer. Finding that soul bloom here for Xiaonan is really crucial. Kakaxi's still rushing this down, but they're gonna back off. They're split, and split enemies can make more of a difference between a lost teammate that can get rezzed or a down teammate to get rezzed. Now FPX up against DRG. DRG finds that Dragon Slayer. Xiaohu is. I'm not sure he has a placed ultimate because I see max rage, and sometimes that means that they don't have it. So let's see if Zhao has it. He does have it. Okay, he's not dead. Dreadful Will almost comes out from Moonlight to kind of deter these guys, but that's a common dagger too. So it's really for the pole sword to do the most damage. Yo, where did they go? Because DRG is in Realm Yang depletion mode. Where did the FPX go? Wow, wait, word? Yeah, we can't even see them. But they ran straight through into Celestra. They're actually so far into Celestra that they find Wolves. One of the 2 Wolf teammates. Yeah, ZK trying to run this out here. EG is actually getting locked into the zone as zone damage is ticking. XCG right at the shop. ZK has to be quiet, but probably not quiet enough. While the bell's already struck, WFC looks to try to regroup his teammates. Wushen caught out almost by FPX, who are going to be looking towards this. F1 preemptive from WFC. He's got 8 seconds to make this work. Let's take a look. See. Gets himself almost in the Dreadful Will. Finds that focus light, but the Fence Post finds his salvation. And a Tesla for a double hit. And an F3 from Dongqing. Hold on a second. R&B coming out for the spam, and an enchant is guaranteed. No ultimate for WFZ. This is it for WFC and I think DRG as a whole. If they try to find that last teammate, NIHQ actually locking himself in here as FPX dropped in Flaming Cage. That's it for FPX. That's it. That's a lot of damage coming out from that Flaming Cage, man. Tries to find a time to distance here. Xiaohu goes down, and that's going to be a 14 eliminations for these guys. But the fact that they lost their Wuchen right now, they need to try to find a way of getting that res because Xiaonan is in his zone with XCG. They get themselves a loot to just heal up here for a little bit while the weakness escalation builds up passively. I think Kakashi actually has a good mark here. It's probably like one of the Yodohimes into this round, especially. V1 comes out here. ZK gets himself into a bad position against ALL, and I honestly think he's actually going to get this elimination or get eliminated. His teammate's still alive, though, from EG, somewhere in the world. 10 eliminations, though, for KLA. ALL with the 2 eliminations. Xiaonan, XCG are actually into this bar of 8. While V3 comes out from GG's LXM. GG has 5 eliminations here, and they look into this V3 to be as immense as possible. And as Xiaonan gets got parry, that's going to be a long handle sap. Massive heal coming back from that point. V1 Tessa is dodged, but I do think LXM has, or actually gets a connection off of the Tessa, the Fairy Shenbeck from Kakashi, but I don't know if they can actually get this kill. I mean, I could see Kakashi trying to keep around the zone and keeping the pressure, but he is at 1 HP. At this point, anyone can come here. Lane from Alliance sees his fight coming in here. He could go for a third party. GG CGS goes ahead and gets dropped into the realm of things, but they're low. There it is, the invasion. And as Xiaonan gets caught into the staggers, the V3 stagger going to hard confirm this for a kill. There it is. Lane goes ahead, finds his teams the soul bloom they need to get that re-up for the ultimate, and goes right back towards looting. While guarding these bodies, they find themselves some good gear. And Jing and from Team Bauda, they have high ground. EG hiding in the zone. I'm not sure if anyone can see him moving around there yet, but we'll see. While Bauda is going to be in the realm of things. Pistol shots. Gives Jing a little bit of advantage. The F wanted them to mulch to give some sort of range position, or even catching a wisp throw. Oof, they found EG. EG's done. They played Snake Eyes with him. Yeah, EG. Oh my goodness, man. EG didn't have anything else to live for here. With that HP bar that went down. Once I saw that wisp throw, I was like, where did I go? And I saw up and I'm like, oh man. They baited him out. They made him feel in pressure. Like under pressure, you know? Like they can't see me, and all of a sudden I'm free. Yeah, I don't know how FBX is going to get out of here because, I don't know. I got to see. Replay coming out here from the fight previous between Wolves and OUG. And then JL actually shows up here. Who wins this fight? Nice F3 against SS. The King, though, tries to turn this around. EG catches that Dragon Slayer. Has the F1. The King has F1. Gets counter grappled. The Foxfire is down. I could see the King just try to ring around the Rosie here if he can, but I think EU is down as well. He's like 1 HP. He's down. Even though there's a group PO, the teleport gives OUG enough time to get out. But look at the third party coming up from JL. Immaculate, especially from FPX as a whole. That's crazy. Alliance finds that final kill off of IHQ. Takes a Fire Scorch, man. You know, as much as the Fire Scorch comes out to play, man, it's tough. Really tough. But KLA finds kills off of Wushin. I think DRG is now out here. They still have one teammate, I think. Nope. Negative on that, I think. They do not. They do have themselves next round, though. 11 eliminations for KLA. Massive bow shots against QGG, forcing Burns. Oh, man. Target lock with the fire arrows. Not great. And he's taking cannon shots. Okay. QGG doesn't want to expend the ult. He doesn't have... Oh, nice armor swap, though. He's just trying to build a vitality first before he goes back to his armor. He's just making sure there's nothing to kind of worry about. And then there's the Moonbane. This is that extra Moonbane that's been recently added. So for that, tough. QGG having to dip out here, abandon his purple armor as regen goes, and gets that regroup position. JL hiding into that building top. I'm not sure they're going to use it, but gold armor, gold weapon. Team Battle will have priority list over this because that Moonbane is blocking a majority of the center of this area that players could peek over the hilltop, but they can't. They can't stick towards that hilltop unless they want to take the risk of being struck. So they're going to find themselves a gold bow. Very nice range weapon opportunity for that gold armor as well. And the purple pull sword to boot up as a secondary. And as it comes out here, I think it's a Hep to detach for yeah, I have to detach, I think, for Jing. We're gonna have to see that one. KLA gonna go out to the corner. Tries to find himself some gear, time to buy loot, some time to buy gear. And of course he's looking to try to just get some heals back into the zone. A lot of I think that's Arachnid leaves or attack 8 for KLA 17S because I don't see a lot of attack jades from his boot besides the 2. It could be attack. It could be the attack one. I'll double check. Oh, this is Realm Yang from WBG and DRG. Okay. This is the other Realm Yang for the first replay. I think I'm taking a look at this. F1 was used. The mulch circle was utilized from, I think that was from Zem. As Zem was able to get caught out here, he uses his F1 from this point. Wushin uses his War Burst and as much strikes that come out from WFZ, who does have ult. Now that's a kid ult comes out from Baiji, but it's a 1v1 between WFZ and the Temi from Zem, but then you can see Moonlight gets caught right into the middle of all this shenanigans. Horizontal coming out here, forces the stone form, tries to delay. You can see Wushin getting parried from the backline, and that could cause a little bit of trouble here as the Takeda pushes in the backline. WBG by G looking to try to use as much neutrals as much as possible. Meter Dome comes out, connects, gets all in for this play. Can we talk about that? Olan. I need an Olan. Hold on, brother. Wait a second. Okay, so the V2 gives Wushin the necessary healing. With the nunchuck change where you can build up binding meter, that was pretty good. So he's just building up damage, right? Now he's at half a bar. Taking a little bit more damage. Goes for meter dump, delays it, and then allows for that gold focus to go through. Connecting off this Sleepwalker, trying to rush in here, catches the LMB, but the gold focus does not stop Moonlight's pressure, and as pressure comes out, Sleepwalker was too close for comfort and gets caught into those final strikes as Wushin looks for an R&B there. I need to see that one more time because I still can't believe that they got WBG Sleepwalker trying to rush in here. He tries to go for an LMB R&B against close proximity gold focus. It's tough. He gets caught into it. And the R&B from Wushin, or yeah, R&B to the LMB, so he did the 1-2. And the Sleepwalker's eliminated. What a sick turnaround. With just like over a little bit of the binding meter for the binding meter to be at half capacity. Really good. Now, Bowda's Yaran is have no HP. He does have tune-up proccing right now, or some heal over time. While Yaran gets himself into F1 state, Ben is now no longer inside of the Fairy Channel. We will see Ben try to back off here. Really curious to see where Roy Shishi might putting this into play. There's the R&Bs. Roy Shishi looking to try to go ahead, gets caught into these cannon shots. Bowda Jing has high ground position. See it to it. Rishi knocked out here with those fans, and Jing looking to try to get as much muscle shots. He gets one hit off of water. Water gets hot into twice. Hot boiling water is where Water is going to be using his F2 to push anyone away from him, but he finds a V1. He gets a dodge. He avoids that scatter shot. Very close. While Lane gets the disenchant here, Bo is going to be protective of his teammates for range shots with that Cat Bloom. And as Bo kind of keeps himself positioned with his cannon, he sees Dongqing. He looks for it. Backline gets parried as a result. Dual wield stab doing revenge a little bit dirty here, but he's going to go ahead and back off here for that F3 usage. He needs to make sure, oh my goodness, one bow shot is enough. You know, Bo is now on range duty. He cannot stop it. Muscle shot comes out from Jing. Even the cannon shot was there to be insurance. And then Bo has to back off here with Lane. But they find FPX's Dongqing again. Dongqing actually having himself in the Buttery Rocks position almost, but finds Ben. Ben finds him in the zone. Ben, go ahead. Eliminates the kill leader, the final remaining. Tessa's still in the match. 17S though finds the KLA ultimate of Fairy Shen to be utilized. JX, FX though, he's caught into this enchant. 17S could have farmed damage on him if he wanted to, but he looks at the high ground, gets himself in cannon mode, and no longer in the mech mode as a result of the delay. So with that, Alliance trying to heal up. Bo is really close in to try to avoid this. You can actually see positions between here and there where Yaran is like ready to go. He has ultimate ready. He's waiting it out. We're gonna see how Yaran kind of gets his chance of using that, and let's take a look into seeing how he kind of wants to operate. Pete gets elimination off of Bo, and Ben, and he's hanging with his fan. The Aurora Burst though gives no reason to enter into Bowda's domain. 17S finds JL's FX, so he has no ultimate. F3 gonna be coming out here for 17S to go for Pulse Swords for free. He actually puts someone into the ringer into the distance. Fat Milk as well. 17S looks to kind of work with his ultimate here. He can get massive slashes off the hilltop, and there it is. Can he lock down somebody to actually be a threat? And he finds Ben. Ben waits his cannon mode out until the V3 Yodohime goes down. Yaran finds the Aurora Burst. Cannon shots against Jing. Jing does not have one more dash is what he's got, right? Yaran has ultimate still has ultimate, hasn't even used it, waiting at the best opportunity. I don't know, man. Bowda's got this corner off because the Aurora Burst can duck anyone from, you know, approaching. Now Pete gets into the high ground. V3 Viper comes out. We could see Lane get this burn to cost his team the position on top of the hill, because now that there's no reason to worry, there is the V2 ultimate from Yaran, and as he gets his position against Water, who's off the zone, there's elimination. 17S goes ahead, sees it. CXC gets elimination off a lane. 17S knocked into the zone. CXC gets a kill off a bin. This is going to be a crucial point. Kaylee's QGG goes down. TXJ has his ultimate and knocking back every single one of these enemies with one fell swoop of catching his extra eliminations. JL, they only get themselves 2 eliminations here. Not even 2, just one. Just one elimination into that lobby, and they played that very passively, you know, as a cannonball comp. So that's kind of interesting, you know. But 8 eliminations, 9 eliminations for Bauda here. As it comes out, 15 eliminations for FPX, and then 15 for KLA. This is kind of huge. This is a really strong tied score between for the kill eliminations. With the ranking point not even being that different. Like, these guys were just 1 placement away from one another. Technically 2 placements away from one another. But 15 eliminations on the bracket between these 2 teams. 9 for Bauda, 10 for XCG, 9 for OUG, 5 for ALL, 6 for GG, 4 for DRG, 3 for EB, 2 for JL, and 4 for Wolves, while 1 for WBG. And the point values kind of allow for the standings to be, you know, I mean, the KLA kind of rushes up past the boys a little bit. To the top 6, we're going to see how much the performance kind of allows for this first game to work in the favor of the other enemies or participants between JL, Wolves, ALL, DRG, BB, WBG. But top 6 is where we're looking at. At this point for finals, we're looking at top 6 every single time. But KLA passes out OUG and FPX as a result, and really good for them. 31.2, 28.3. They only need around 42.8 for the match point, and then they're good to go. But with that, still 2 more games in tomorrow's Isle, and then we go into Holoroth. We'll be back for round 2. We're actually gonna do this as the first time for multiple parts. So for that, I'll see you guys later. And yeah, any recommendations? Leave them in the comments. Anything of that nature, I will be grateful for it. Especially if you guys have any opinions in yourself, you know, so we can discuss about it. And yeah. See you guys.